I can see and hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
I did exactly everything the same. So, hey, so
Let
this
that just
is
be a testament.
yeah. This is ad campaigns, what local businesses should know. I'm David Grubb from Shepherd's Loft Web Design Agency, and this is Michelle Kefir joining us again today. Michelle, how are you this week, this day, Friday afternoon?
Yes, it is a Friday that doesn't quite feel like a Friday, but I'm ready to knock the rest of this week out. Thanks for having me back.
All right. So we're just gonna have a casual conversation about ad campaigns. Again, what local businesses should know about ad campaigns. And well, so the first question is, where do most local businesses run ad campaigns? What channels and networks do they use?
I think most businesses, whenever they're getting their start, are starting off on social media ads. Facebook ads are very, very common. Facebook has done a wonderful job of making it feel very easy for business owners and for page owners to just click a couple of times and have an ad turned on without a whole lot to it. The problem, though, is then when it doesn't work, people think Facebook advertising doesn't work. Or maybe the same thing, oftentimes Google ads. Google will send out small, especially if you have a Google My Business page, they'll send you, hey, here's $1,000 credit to just turn on your first smart campaign. And turning the ad campaign on isn't always necessarily the difficult part. But I think most people, there's lots of different social media channels, but I think Facebook and Google ads are the ones that people are most familiar with and are experimenting with most often.
Yeah, cool. So out of those, uh, how many how many channels should a local business use when they're running ads? Should they do both or choose one? And are there any other options?
Yeah, there's lots of options, which is the nice part because there's some space to experiment and kind of see what works best for your business and your audience and the people you're trying to reach out to. It really depends on your goals and also which channels you already have active. If you don't have a Google My Business page and you don't have a website, then you don't need to run Google business ads. If you have a Facebook account but you never post and there's nothing there except ads, those might not be very active or very engaged with. They might not be very effective. Same with LinkedIn. If you want to advertise there, make sure you're there. So I think when it all comes down to it, choose the number of channels that you're already successfully um, operating on and trying to build an audience and engagement, because ads are really meant to accelerate traffic. But if there's nothing to accelerate, then you're just really burning your money down in the meantime.
Yeah, so you've got 20 friends on Facebook and you want to run a Facebook ad. So the algorithm doesn't even really have a chance to find your target audience, right? So so that I could see how that could be a real challenge even for the machines to be able to help find more people like the people that you want, right? So that's typically how that's chosen. So yeah, so why should you define your audience before you begin?
Yeah, so you want to make sure the algorithms know exactly what you're saying. Like, who are these ads going to be for? Who are the types of people I want on my page? If you don't already have an audience that's engaged, maybe it's just friends and family, that can be very, very confusing to the algorithms because what you're saying you want on your page and who is on your page are not alike. So building out your audience is really important when you're creating your page from the beginning, making sure it's clearly defined. This is the type of content from our page. This is who we want to be building community with and clicking and sharing content with us. And then the more you define your audience, the less guesswork the algorithms have to do. And that's where you get your cost control. Because otherwise, an algorithm can burn through your budget just kind of buckshotting out to a very, very wide audience, and it can go really quickly. So the more defined your audience, the more defined your page community is, the better success you're going to have whenever you're getting those first ads up and running and with some effectiveness.
So, so if you were starting out and you didn't have a website, you didn't have a Facebook following, then what's your better choice there? Should you just wait, or get a website and or get a Facebook page before you start advertising?
So, what a lot of people do in this situation, it especially became very, very common in the era right after COVID when all of the course gurus and Facebook ad gurus and everyone came out. And that's just to build a funnel. And so, build a landing page and then build ads that go into that landing page. So, yeah, you've got to have something. So, whether it's a full fledged website or a full fledged social media account, really again depends on what you're trying to sell, who you're selling it to, how much authority do you need in order for someone to trust you enough to complete that transaction. But building a funnel page that gets people to a very specific landing page that gives very clear next steps. It is a way that you can just get something up and running if you're just desperate to run ads.
Yes. So you really got to kind of start from the beginning, and that kind of leads into our next question is, why should you build a landing page for your ad?
Yeah. So even if you already have a website and you already have a social media, I might still recommend that you develop landing pages for your ads. And that's because of the way that the search algorithms and the bot matching content algorithms and all the little robots out there that are helping people get from their search query to your ad, they need a seamless experience, right? So if your ad is about buying garage doors, and then you get to a website and the website is about new home maintenance. Like, yeah, maybe there's some relation between whether or not you need a new garage door and how that affects with your new home maintenance, but that's going to reduce your quality score for your ad, which means it's going to serve it to less people, and you're not going to get the bang for your buck that you're looking for out of your ad. So, really the best practice is to make sure you have a landing page tailored to each one of your ads. So whatever the keyword search are, that keyword search terms or visual search or images that you're targeting, whatever's showing up in the ad is also going to show up on that landing page, that place where they click through. And the more
Mm,
consistency you have there,
yeah,
the better your ads are going to perform. And David, you've been running your web agency for a long time. Landing pages are easy. It's not like building a whole new website to just flip up a landing page. They're also really great for experimentation. Maybe you're not
yeah.
exactly sure who your audience is, but you know what your offer is, and you want to see who likes it better. So you could tailor a landing page for one audience versus the other page. Put the same ad pointing towards both of them and then see which one is converting, and that can help you learn about your audience as well. So there's a lot of different ways that you can leverage landing pages in your ad campaigns, whether it's experimentation, audience growth and development, just that streamlined consistency to crank up this optimization score. But yeah, you can anticipate landing pages being a big part of your ad campaign if you're wanting to do it successfully.
Yeah, simple landing pages, a photo, 3 or 4 bullets, and a form. I mean, it's super easy to put together. And then on the back end, you can add a form. You can be able to capture information. And so, talk to us about measuring the traffic, and what do we need. Uh, what does that advantage of having a landing page? What does it allow us to measure?
Well, and that's really nice too, from a measurement perspective, because if you have a landing page and literally the only way that someone could access that landing page is to get to it from the other side of your ad, then it just gives you a really clear second set of data to know whether or not your ads are actually functioning. One of the biggest frustrating parts of being a marketer is trying to reconcile data points from one side of an ad to the backside of the ad, or one side of a campaign to the backside of the campaign. Google might tell you that it's shown your ads to 2,000 people and you've had 400 clicks, but then when you go look at the Google Analytics on that landing page and there's only been 10 people there, then that means 400 clicks, but only 10 actually made it to the page. Is that a bounce rate issue? Is that a server issue? Or are those clicks just being inflated because they're bots clicking and not humans clicking and coming through? So having, the ability to measure your ads from multiple perspectives and not just from the ads dashboard will really, again, help you understand where your money is going, and whether or not your ads are being served to humans or robots.
Yes, and well, and we know that Google kind of is really a huge part. I mean, they have more than a majority of the market in the marketplace for online digital marketing, and so that's an important thing to understand is if we need to be able to measure that traffic, right, and understand where it's coming from. So how do ad campaigns impact a business's brand?
Yeah, from a branding perspective, the whole thing is just about showing up, right? You want to build trust. You want to show that you're reliable. You want to, build social proof, and there's all these different things that you want your business to reflect in order to um, get that trust of your potential customers, so they're willing to transact with you, and they feel like you're a safe place to give money, and they know they're going to get in return what they think they're buying or that they think they're shopping for. And so ads are just another way, it's another touch point to put that up, and to build that credibility. If someone's never heard of you and they search for you and you're running ads, you're going to show up. If someone's never heard of you and they search for you and you're not running ads based on their search history and their user profile, they might not see you, even if they're looking specifically for you, or unless, depending on what their search phrases are. So I think it has it does have a lot of influence on whether or not people view you as a credible brand. But the other side of it is just the impact, right? Like people want leads, they want deals, they want clicks, they want commerce, but that has to come from somewhere. And so you've got to have your top of funnel activities and that brand awareness in order to get down the funnel, to get those conversions and to get those leads and things like that. They're not just going to come out of nowhere. There really is a process of a decision making process, an exposure process, as how all of us as consumers find brands, find products, find services, and then interact with them. So yeah, having ads up is just a really simple way to, get you those extra touch points and build and boost some credibility in your visibility, when people are looking for you.
Yes. So I've got a list of do's and don'ts here. I just want to kind of add this to the end, and I'm going to read through a list of some of these do's and just see which ones that you agree with, and maybe explain and elaborate on them.
Okay.
So the first one we already talked about, defining your audience. Uh, Another one is setting measurable goals, which you just
Mhm.
mentioned, and then also craft a compelling and relevant message. And that's dependent upon your
That's
audience.
very difficult too, especially for small business owners. I'm going to jump in on this one.
Good.
It is very common, and no judgment towards business owners. I myself am an entrepreneur. I know how difficult it is to operate a business. You're solving problems, you've got something of value that you're offering, but it is so easy to put blinders on as a business owner, and think that people are going to search for your business the way that you would search for your business. But the problem with that is you already know what your business is. You already know how to find your business. You already know what problems you're trying to solve. So when you're creating that copy and you're creating those ad taglines, to you it seems very obvious. This is a great tagline that someone's just going to like resonate with. But the problem with that is if your customers already knew who you were and they already knew what you had to offer, they're not the ones searching for you. The people who are searching for you don't know who you are. They may not even know they have a problem at all, much less that you can solve it for them. So I really, really challenge you, if you're writing your own ad copy, bounce it off the wall with someone who's never heard of your business and ask them if it makes any sense. Would you search for something this way? And you want your ads to reflect the people who know nothing about you. You want your ads to show up for those people. So, creating compelling messaging that resonates. There's a reason why copywriters are expensive. It is a very valuable skill. If you want to try to do it on your own, again, I really urge you to get some feedback from people outside of your business. Otherwise, find an expert that can help you do this because there's an art to it for sure.
I completely agree, and I love your point about the keywords and how people search for your business. And honestly, that has got to be one of the main challenges that we have when we're doing search engine optimization for a website. It's sometimes it's the obvious thing that you just overlook, but in other times it's just people are not using that terminology. And I think that also kind of leads into knowing your audience and know how the age of your audience and so forth. But so many times I've been asked, hey, well, let's use this keyword and add this keyword, and I go look it up and I'm like, there's nothing there. Nobody searches for that term at all. And I think it's important for us to go back and do that homework, do that research, and say, hey, look, nobody's looking for that keyword phrase, but they are looking for this. So let's optimize around these things. And so doing keyword research analysis is a very, very important step, whether you're building a website and or you're running an ad campaign. So I think that's real important to
Well,
understand that.
and just to build on that really quickly, because even now, as you're explaining this, you're using language that someone who's never done keyword research might not understand. So if you go to a keyword, so for someone who wants to do their own keyword research, they're going to go find a tool like SEMrush, Ahrefs. There's a free version of it where people can get started. What you're looking for is what's called keyword density. How often and keyword volume, like how often are people actually searching for that term, and how many businesses or web pages are addressing that term. So if you have high volume and low keyword density, those are the primo places that you want to advertise. If it's high volume and high keyword density, you can still target it, but it's going to cost you a little bit more. If you have low volume and low keyword density, then that's a pretty good sign that nobody's looking for that. So don't waste your money trying to fill that gap either.
Well, yeah, there's another measurement there, but I actually want to kind of save that. I like to do a full course on finding the right opportunity for keywords. So back onto our
Yeah,
point
for
with the
another video. All right,
yeah, I
back
might
to
say
the do's and don'ts of ads.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, keyword research. How to do keyword research. So we'll circle back to that one in another episode. So choosing the right channels. We talked about that. So we're talking about ad campaigns and what local businesses should do or should know about running ad campaigns. And so some of the do's, we're working on those. So choose the right channels, optimize your landing page or conversion funnel, test, analyze, and optimize. This is where A/B testing comes in. Mention how easy it is to build a landing page. You literally can duplicate the page and change some copy, change the photo, change the heading. So that's super easy to do.
I want
Uh,
to add on that real quick, just to clarify. It's A/B testing. It's not ABCDEFGHIJKLMNOP testing. So if you're gonna change the landing page, choose one thing to change on the landing page. Because if something works or doesn't work, you want to know what it is that changed that made it work. So if you go make 5 changes and all of a sudden your ad is bombing, what change broke it? You won't
yeah,
know. Or in the
yeah,
reverse, you go and make 5 changes and all of a sudden your ad is flying off the shelf. What works, you don't know what to replicate. So it is a patient man's game. And that's another reason why ad managers are a good asset to have, because they're checking in every day, a few times a day, and they're just touching one variable at a time.
fine.
Change the picture and wait and see.
Yeah,
Change the headline and
fine.
wait and see.
Let's see.
Change how you're targeting and wait and see. You really want to make sure that A/B testing is taken very literal and you're testing one thing against one thing at a time.
Yes. They follow the scientific process, right? One variable at a time. Uh,
Yes.
that's pretty awesome. So other do's, have a strong call to action. Uh, then
People wanted to be told what to do. You like Again, it's not obvious. You might think it's obvious that you want them to click. You might think it's obvious that you want them to sign up for something. You might think it's very obvious, hey, this is on sale. I want you to buy it. But if you're not saying here, like, here's your button, and this is what the button is going to do for you when you get to the other side of it, people aren't going to click it. Like, especially now,
Yes,
we're all
absolutely.
click exhausted. All right. We really need to know what's on the other side of that click before I
Just
do it.
get me to where I want to go. I
Yes.
think I've
And make
already
sure I
made
know
this.
where I'm going.
Yeah, I want to know where I've been, right? Yeah, I think we already made a video on this. It's the best use of buttons, 5 best button practices, or something like that. So
Yeah,
we
link it
can
in the
put the
comments.
yeah. So another good thing to do is be consistent with branding, and then allocate budget wisely. So, those are important steps. I think if I was to run an ad, I just want to kind of go all in. Let's get a whole bunch of leads just right out of the box, right?
You and everybody else, sir. Um, and I can tell you there are just as many people who are suddenly like, I just spent $5,000 and I don't have anything to show for it. So be
Yeah,
careful. But use, it's very tempting to just like, I'm gonna throw it all in, I'm gonna throw everything at it and just see what happens. Google ads and Facebook ads and LinkedIn ads and YouTube ads, they are businesses that are there to collect your money. It is up to you to learn how to navigate their platform so you also get results from that money that you're giving them. And
yeah.
so proceed cautiously, start slow and build when you're finding success. If you're not finding success, then figure out what's broken and then add funds to it. Don't just throw it all out at once, or you'll burn it and you won't have any information or good data to help you make better choices next time.
So you just mentioned, start slow, start small, and build. And a lot of times I've had the conversations about starting new websites, brand where we're actually registering the domain name at the beginning of the project. And I have experienced multiple times where it takes an entire year before Google will rank, not index, but rank that website because the domain name is brand new. So having a domain name that's been, registered for some time period is important. So I want to mention this to put it in perspective. So we're talking about starting small and growing so slowly, but this is what, weeks or months compared to years where you're buying a domain name and waiting for it to get um ranked. So
So when you have a brand new domain name, you can choose to invest in ads, not to get you leads, but to help you build your rank. And so that's another thing. You can use ads in lots of different ways. You can use ads to drive traffic just for the sake of establishing authority or on your domain. Or you can run ads to retarget people who've been to your website and now you want them to fill out a form or to buy something. There's all different types of ads outcomes that you can achieve. And so that's, there are ways to use ad to speed things up, but don't use the wrong ad strategy and the wrong part of your process because then you're just burning money down.
yes. So yeah, that's a very, very good strategy. Okay, so again, we're talking about ad campaigns and what local businesses should know about running a campaign. And so here's some of the things that you should not do. Uh, so don't
Specific.
guess your don't guess who your audience is. I think we've kind of nailed that one down. Don't have vague or undefined goals. Don't use generic or irrelevant messaging. That's kind of like the buttons. Be specific, right? Um, don't spread yourself too thin across too many channels.
Yep.
Uh, don't neglect your landing page. Uh, so, like sending them to your homepage instead of a landing page. Then don't set it and forget it. So you mentioned multiple times, check it, right? Don't forget a clear
And if
call to
you're
action.
And I'll just add to this, you're a business owner, you have a lot going on, and managing an ad efficiently and properly. You want to check it a couple times a day, every day that it's running, and you want to be constantly tweaking and pulling. That's not always a viable option for people who are very busy, and running an ad is a very, it's important to them or they wouldn't be doing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to take precedence over their normal day-to-day role. So in those instances, you can do like micro ads. So run an ad for 3 days, and so you can set it and forget it, but it's not going to run away from you. And then
Set the
after 3 days,
budget.
you can go back and look and then see and then turn it on for 4 days or 5 days,
Yeah.
and kind of just turn it on for a few days at a time. And that way, kind of builds like a safety net for yourself, to not just let an ad account run away and burn a bunch of money without you
This
having a chance to adjust something.
So this reminds me of one of my good friends, Tracy Meisner. I'll give him a shout out. Taught me how to do video and video filming and editing many years ago. He's got his own business. He's restarted. He's 3 years into his new business. But he used to always tell me, boring video is good video. And so to understand that, what you're talking about is if you tweak it like every hour for the whole day, your ad's not even going to function correctly. So I say boring video is good video because you like you said, you want to set it, maybe put a budget on it and set it and let it go, and don't keep tweaking it over and
And
over and over
yeah,
every single day. I mean, that's like having a video camera and just keep moving it around while you're filming. Nobody can tell what's going on.
if you have an ad expert, they can tweak it as often because they know what they're tweaking. But if you're learning and you're experimenting, yeah, don't just go in again. Like if you're doing too much, then how are you ever going to know what's actually working or not working? So take a deep breath, work with an expert, or take one little bite at a time and then take a break.
So there's a couple here more here, do's and don'ts for ad campaigns for local businesses. Don't misrepresent your product or service. Uh,
Yes, self-advertising is annoying. It doesn't do you any favors to like clickbait somebody to your page. Like it does nothing for anybody. People are just gonna be mad at you and like you're not gonna get the results you want. And now you're spending money
yeah,
on, false positives. Like don't do it.
right.
It's not worth it. The gimmicks are never worth it.
And it says don't ignore competitor activity, uh, but don't just copy
Yeah.
everybody else.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite things to talk about whenever people are like, well, the app, my competitor is doing this. And so
Mhm.
I want to do that too. Like,
Yeah,
okay, the first question I always ask is that working for your competitor? Like, just because they're doing it, you don't know if it's working for them.
right.
You don't know if they're having any success. So pay attention to it because you want to be familiar to people that might see you and a competitor. You want people to be able to relate you to your competitors so they understand what it is that you're offering. But don't just copy them. You really, really need to tailor what your offer is from your brand's perspective, and use your opportunity to build an authentic relationship with the people in your audience. So pay attention to what your competitors are doing. Certainly do not ignore it, but don't just assume, even if it's like, but they're huge. They have so much money. Surely their marketing people know what they're doing. You cannot assume that
Maybe
to be true. I
that's
work with a lot of marketing people that have worked in small businesses and are extraordinary. And I've worked with marketing people that have worked at huge enterprise, major global name brands, and they're idiots. So, you never know whose cousin is running the ads campaign. So be careful with that assumption.
yeah, that could be the person that spent way too much, $5,000 and got no leads, right? So
Exactly.
we have no
Exactly.
idea.
Never, yeah, be careful in your assumptions.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that was all the do's and don'ts that we had today for the ad campaigns for local businesses. And I just want to let you know, Shepherd's Loft is offering specific campaigns, so you can purchase a campaign through us. You can get Michelle and I to help you run a campaign, and there's different types that we are offering. We're offering ad campaigns. Review campaigns where we help you get more reviews on your social media marketing, and also
Reputation
referral
management.
campaigns. We can help you put together a referral program that's going to get your customers and the people that like you to make more referrals. And in this month only, this is July, we are also doing a new no sign up fee for email accounts and domain names, and some more of the
Oh,
technology
nice.
side of things. So no sign up fees this month through July. Reach out and let us know. We also can do a free website review. And then I also have a full website analysis. I think it's less than $100 for a complete analysis. But reach out to us. Let us know how we can help you. And yeah, don't. We hope that your ad campaigns go well and don't spend too much money. So spend the right amount of money.
Yeah. Spend the amount of money that works and get you your results and it is worth it. That magic number is going to be different for everybody. So,
Yeah.
make smart choices out there, everybody, and let us know if we can help in any way.
All right. Thank you for joining us today, Michelle, and hopefully we'll be
Mhm.
around. I'm not sure what our schedule looks like, but yeah, there's one more campaign that we'd like to cover. We've covered ad campaigns and reputation management. So I think the referral campaign would be the third one on our list. So
Yep.
hopefully we'll be back soon to have a live video on that. Thank you, Michelle.
Well, thanks. Hasta luego. Bye.
Bye.